Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike King here. We got Tiffany Greene who is with us. Welcome to the program, ma'am.
Thank you for having me, Mike.
Alrighty. So we were just talking about our friend Sherry Cerny.
And kangaroos.
So if you ever want to know a kangaroo story, ask a lady from Minnesota who's married to a man.
You would never think, ask the lady from Minnesota
about a kangaroo who's married to a man from Youngstown, Ohio, and we get to the kangaroo story. So, ladies and gentlemen, on the mic, Mike, Tiffany Greene is here. Our good friend Sherry Cerny had said her husband wanted a kangaroo. I didn't know why, and then I just went off into remember the time you saw the video of the guy fighting the kangaroo, and shenanigans happened. Yes, so that's what happened. So shout out to Sherry Cerny. Hope you're feeling better. Hope there's no kangaroo running around down there with you guys that you took an L. But, get better. On the mic is Mike.
Hey, you've heard monkey on your back.
Yes, but this is nothing like a kangaroo. You can live with a monkey on your back, but when you got a beat down from a kangaroo, or either you gave him the business. I told her, if I beat up a kangaroo, my grandkids are never going to hear the end of that. Like, when they're acting up, I'm like, you saw what I did to that kangaroo, right?
What was the movie where the kangaroo beat up a character? That's going to bother me. There is a comedy out there where the kangaroo is beating up one of the characters.
But this was in real life where the kangaroo had this guy's dog.
I gotta see this thing.
Yes, well, you're from Canada.
Yeah, we don't see videos like that.
You're not allowed to see it.
Moose?
But there's a moose. But the kangaroo had hold of a guy's dog, and the guy went up and was gonna save his dog, and the kangaroo dropped the dog and put the dukes up like he was ready to fight.
I don't think a kangaroo is doing something like that either, right?
He is. He's still on his hind legs, getting ready to get busy. On the mic with Mike.
Anyhow.
Solution Shaper. Hey, how you doing out there? Yes. So, Mike King.
Empower people. We're not talking about empowering kangaroos today.
Yes.
We're actually talking about empowering people.
Stacy Barley Goodman is here. She was just in with Origami Solutions. She was teaching us about incremental change to your business, and and she's one of your people.
She's one of our people.
She's one of your
people.
And want to empower. All right, really quickly, tell folks who you are and what you do.
So Empower People is a nonprofit that helps provide education and connection and support for purpose-driven leaders so they can impact positive change and, ergo, empower people.
And how do we find you out there?
We go to empowerpeople.org. It's spelled MPWRPeople.org. Or you can hashtag us. Empower People. Yeah, and you can find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And actually, I'm going to put a little splash in here. Village Bank is doing a promotion today because today is Giving Tuesday. So if you're watching this, Giving Tuesday is on November 28th. Okay?
Yes.
And Village Bank if you follow Village Bank on Facebook or on Instagram, okay, you got to follow them. And then in the comments, I'm putting a plug in here for Empower People. Tag us in the comments. We'll have a chance to win $500.
Because Village Bank is a good supporter of you guys. That's your guy, Billy.
Billy works for Village Bank.
Yes, he does.
He's a commercial lender for Village Bank, and so that it's really good. And I think I checked it. There's a lot of nonprofits, so I'm biased. Please.
I'm sure you're right.
Please tag Empower People. But if you have another nonprofit in mind, that's okay too. Or guess what? Tag a bunch.
There you go. All right. So we're talking about nonprofit. The spillage over into the business community too. You always come with a topic to talk about. What are we talking about today?
I think today what I'd like to talk about is a lot of times when you talk about purpose-driven, you think about what? Social responsibility or social change, right?
Yes.
And a lot of times I'd like to talk about, because earlier this month, what did we have? We had our elections, right?
Yes.
And so a lot of times, the months leading up, especially the few weeks leading up to election time, people are thinking about what kind of positive change can I make? What things need to be done in our society? How do I make my vote count? What do I need to do, right? And then the election's over, and it's like, well, I guess I will have to wait for the next election, right?
Yes.
No.
You're not, okay?
Right? Because that's what Empower People's about. Because Empower People, we're here to drive change.
Positive
We're not positive change. And it's not all dependent on government and policy. We can focus as individuals, as purpose-driven leaders, on what we can do to drive the change that we want to see in the world every single day. We do that through our leadership, and we do that through our organizations. We don't have to be completely dependent on our votes. Now, I do think we need to vote, so I'm not minimizing the importance of voting. But what I'm saying is it doesn't have to be all driven by politics.
And so my program, On the Mic with Mike, is a business show. It's a business about how business helps society be better. And you talk about this all the time. So you're saying the people are running for elected office. A lot of times you see the commercials, they run up until election day, boom, never see them again until the next time. So you kind of wonder what happened. You're saying that business and people in general can have an impact in your world and not just worry about.
Correct. And so a lot of times in politics, people will complain about, the leaders aren't listening to us, they have other agendas, this or that. But if we're always focused on driving the positive change that we want to see, that will make politicians take note of that. So when they do run for election, they may alter their platform. Because that's called what? Grassroots campaign?
Yes.
Well, grassroots campaigns start by action and what we do as leaders. So if you want to, you hear it saying, be the change you want to see in the world?
Yes.
Well, be the change you want to see in the world. Today. Don't wait for the next election. Today to be the change. That's how we move the needle, right? So, but you got to have ecosystems. So you're like, well, I love to make change, but how the heck do I do that? How do I, as a leader in a business, whether it be a for-profit or nonprofit, how the heck do I do it, right? Well, when you establish your business, why did you establish your business? Again, whether it's a for-profit or nonprofit, you did it for a reason. You did it to move the needle on something, right?
Yes.
And the truth is, you might say, well, isn't business to make money? Well, that is a byproduct.
You said that.
That's the byproduct. So when you're trying to move that needle and you're like, let's use that example that I used before with the grocery store. The grocery store, look at Whole Foods. They want to drive health. They want to make people be more healthy. So they've created a grocery store that provided healthy foods, organic foods, locally delivered foods, right? Farm to table. So they have an ecosystem of a supply chain that helps support that. They work with other associations, other nonprofits and for-profits to boost the health for people, okay? So you got to be structured about it. An ecosystem isn't something that, no pun intended since we're talking about organic foods, doesn't just organically
happen.
There has to be a structure to it. Just like your organization creates a strategic plan, a strategic objective for its organization, when you try to move the needle for purpose, positive impact, you have to have a strategic plan for that.
So let me ask you, so a lot of times when you're talking you ask a person that question, why does a person start a business maybe different than a person who starts a nonprofit? The knee-jerk answer is, why do you start a business? It's going to be for a lot of people to make money. And you're saying there's more to it than that. You did it for a reason, the same way that a nonprofit started a nonprofit for a reason.
Let me ask you this. When you lose weight, do you lose weight to lose weight?
No. A lot of times a person says, I lost weight to be healthier.
There's a bigger purpose at play. So when somebody says, I'm creating my business to make money, why did you want to create money? Why did you want to make the money?
A person would say, maybe because it gave me freedom. I didn't have to listen to another person at a business. I had an idea, and I thought that I could do it better.
And there's something still, you keep asking the why, you're going to find out the root. Now, if the root of the why is, I started a business because I didn't want to answer to anybody, I wanted to be my own person, my own boss, they won't be in business for very long.
No, because you got to answer to the customer, and
everybody's got a boss.
Everybody has to answer to someone. All right, Tiffany Greene is here with us. How can people find information out about Empower People?
Go straight to our website, empowerpeople.org. That's MPWRPeople.org. You can reach out to me for information too. I like email. Email's the best way because I'm a lot of times in meetings, to be honest with you. So TJ Greene with an E at the end at empowerpeople.org. You can also find us on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram.
So one of the things, your name has been bandied about, Yes, bandied, that's a technical term. And so we're talking to Stacey Briley Goodman, who's still on, and we talk about purpose and the people that you kind of interact with, and it would be your tribe, your crew, your ecosystem, whatever it
Squad.
is. Your squad. Your Justice League people. A lot of them had the same temperament mentality of the way you do business. So you started Empower People, and when you look down through the list of people, they sort of had the same kind of. Talk a little bit about why that's important. So that's your ecosystem internally and externally. You try and find a synergy so that you can do business in the best way.
So everybody that you'll notice, like you're saying, that there's this commonality amongst us all, and the commonality amongst us all is that it's purpose-driven, right? So we all share a common purpose. We all know what our purpose is, right? So that's not to say Stacy or Brian or John or any of the other folks aren't looking to make money with their businesses or their ventures, but that is not their purpose for having these ventures. Their purpose is they want to help small businesses and nonprofits grow, thrive, and succeed, because they all believe that small businesses are the cornerstone of our communities and our economy. So they want to, so when all these like different organizations or consultancies focus on the mid-market and enterprise clients, right? You know, all the Accentures, the Deloittes, and we can go through the whole laundry list, right? Who's there for these folks? Who's here for the small business and nonprofit?
Yeah, a lot of it they have to learn on their own.
They have to learn for it. Yeah, and there's resources for startups. Like if you're looking to do a startup, there's resources out there. But once they've already established, right, and they've gone to a certain goal, but they're really wanting to move the needle further, who's there to help them? There's not many places to turn. But this is our foundation. Do you know that 99% of the employees in the United States are employed by small businesses?
Yes, and you could, because every day there's someone who's out there ready to take a chance on themselves and start a business. And a lot of times, so you get change agents, you talk about purpose. A friend, Kelly Swazo Davis, is on. You know, it's about purpose, the way they do business and operate. You can tell, and we've had the conversation about, I wouldn't call it gobbledygook or, yes, that's my wife calls it my guy, now she's going to sing. There is a bottom line impact, and I think it was for a very long time. We came out of the 80s, and, Gordon Gekko, greed is good, and then everybody was just out to make the money. Now we're starting to see that people understand.
The me generation. That's what it's called, the me generation, right?
Yes. Now, part of that one is everything is not about me.
You know why we had the me generation, right?
Because parents were...
No, we went through the I have nothing generation. When we evolved from the Great Depression, the World Wars, where we were giving and giving, where people felt so depleted they had nothing for themselves. But when you strive for purpose, it's about giving is receiving. Whenever we have these crazy pendulum swings.
The swings, yes.
We always end up landing where?
In the middle.
That's the secret. That's the special point, right? That's the point you want to be in. That's where equilibrium and the magic happens.
So if you're in a business and you see wild swings, or maybe they don't know they're having wild swings.
I hope so.
You want to get them to the middle. How do you get the business to understand purpose and to get more centered?
So for a small business, probably the biggest challenge for small businesses, they're oftentimes, what I say, lost in the weeds. They're often lost in the day-to-day operations.
I'm putting fires out, ma'am. I'm a fireman.
And what will they say? And I've actually had this conversation with clients in the past. I'll say, we need to look, we've got to stand back, and we've got to look at why did you go into the business in the first place? What is your purpose? I have this fire. I can't think about that right now. And I say, if you're only contending with this fire, there's another fire happening over there, and another fire happening over there. All you're ever going to do
is keep putting out fires.
You have to take a step back. It's kind of like if you go to the doctor and you say, I have a sore throat, and the doctor hands you an antibiotic to take for that sore throat, but maybe you had acid reflux.
Yes.
You have to take a step back to assess the full picture, right? So the crazy pendulums is because you're not taking a step back, looking at the business holistically and going, okay, we're in this business for a reason. What's causing this pendulum to swing so wildly? Are we off of our purpose and our strategy? Are we remaining focused?
I don't know. I don't know if
Well, it depends. That's the question you have to ask. I'm not saying the answer is always yes. I'm saying first you got to do an assessment.
I don't know if we can be really focused because we're too busy putting out fires.
But you have to take a step back.
Which is scary.
It is scary. So if I'm not a firefighter,
Mm-hmm.
so it'd be great if we had a firefighter here to speak to this. But I would imagine if a firefighter goes in, right? The firefighter is a team, right? You got the fire department to come in. There's a fire. They see if they quickly try to what? Save people. That's the immediate, right? So I'm not saying you ignore fires, but you have to address the priorities. But if they don't find out where the fire originated, what happens?
There's a mystery. We never get to the root cause.
Or you are more likely to lose the structure, right? Because if you don't find the origination, if something that, let's say, I'm not a firefighter, so I apologize, but let's say that combustible thing just keeps going and going. Why don't we get to the source of the combustion?
We have to find out where that is. It was in the basement. It was in the back room. We had to figure that's the assessment. Mm-hmm. How often when you go in and talk to business owners, are they open to that type of thinking?
Usually at first not.
Not at all.
No, they're like, I got this pain, so it's like if somebody calls 911 for help with their burning home, you gotta address the immediate, prioritize and address anything that's immediate, but then quickly shift and get to the root of the problem. So they don't want to feel like what they perceive their immediate threat is being ignored. Like, I'm telling you, my business is struggling right now. And you're like, no, we're gonna look at this other. Well, what the heck? I'm telling you. You got to look at that because that's a symptom. It'd be like going to the doctor and again, you say, I have a sore throat. And the doctor's like, okay, but I'm going to check your knee and I'm telling you I have a sore throat. You're still going to look at the throat, but the doctor's still going to do what?
They're going to check everything else too.
If they're a good doctor, they will, or they'll be going back, right?
Yes. On the mic, Tiffany is here with us. Empower People Solutions. I always talk about people have a dream, but a lot of times they don't know how to implement it. So you Empower People starts as a dream and idea, and now you're able to you go find team members, and now you build something that people kind of look at as a little weird. They don't understand what that is. How do we take a dream to fruition and then sort of explain to people to gain business market share?
So through the whole system is you have to have an ecosystem to be successful. You have to have an internal ecosystem and you have to have an external ecosystem. And if they're both working in tandem for your strategic purpose, that's where the magic happens. So Empower People provides the education and connection to help make that happen. In order to have an idea and make it be successful, it's about having a clear, thought out strategy and action plans, right? And setting up SMART goals. You've heard all this before, but there's a difference between knowing it, right? You can learn this stuff, and I think everybody needs to learn this stuff. I believe in education, but the difference between Empower People and a lot of other programs is not only do you get the education, you get the peer group coaching and the peer group advising to help you implement it. And the coaching is, what's the number one obstacle for most people? Themselves.
Change.
No, it's themselves.
Oh, that's true.
Could be ego, which is usually driven by fear. There's a lot of self-limiting,
yes.
Right? So through the peer group coaching, you're working on one of your biggest challenges, which is getting you in the right mindset, making sure you're being held accountable, making sure you have the right leadership skills and practice, right? And then through the peer group advising, as you're implementing what you're learning, you're hearing from others of how can I better implement this? And they're also holding you accountable to implement it, right? It's not just a great theory now that, yeah, I really want to do it, kumbaya, but I never do it. Because that's what sets leaders apart. That's what takes ideas into reality. It's the doing.
There are a lot of idea thought leaders out there, but the implementation is the big part.
The implementation, because to actually do requires a plan, it requires accountability, and it requires tenacity, and it requires, I know I'm going to fail, but failure really isn't failure. Failure is just learning. And when you have the support system to back you through that, you have odds of success, meaning your dream coming to fruition, it greatly increases.
So when you're putting together the Empower team, how do you look out there and see who has what it takes to partner with? Like, how do you determine good partners and good fits or good clients? Because there's some clients you got to let go.
Well, it really goes to two things. It's really clear. Are they purpose-driven and are they growth-minded? Because some people, purpose-driven means I know what my purpose is. And I'm driven to accomplish that, right? And again, purpose isn't about revenue or profit. It's something bigger. Then the growth-minded is I'm always working to grow myself, my business, everything. I understand life as a growth journey, and that's what I'm on, and I want to have help doing that. So if they have those two facets, I want to partner with them. I want to work with them. These people, and when I say purpose-driven people, generally, they are out to drive positive impact. That's what purpose-driven really means. Positive impact, positive change. They want to empower people, too, to do that positive impact and create positive change.
When you drill down and have that conversation, how many people think that they're really doing it? And then how many people really, when you drill down to it, are really purpose-driven?
Most people actually are purpose-driven. What happens is when they get lost in the business of taking out the fires, they lose sight of what their purpose is, and so they feel like, I don't know if I'm cut out to be in business anymore. I'm not doing what I thought I was going to be doing with my business.
You thought you were going to be a business person and not a fireman.
Right, because what happens is if you do not focus, you hear this all the time. I work in my business, I don't work on my business. I never have enough time to work on my business, I'm always working in it. And if you don't focus on your business, that means you're not focused on your purpose.
Okay. Tiffany Greene is here with us on the mic. Mike, Empower People. So we're coming to you from the ESPN studio today. So Tiffany, next week we're together, but we're rolling out the crew next week.
It's the Empower Hour.
It is the Empower Hour. Let's go down through the rock star lineup.
Okay, so let's first say the Empower Hour is December 6th, I think. It's next Wednesday. Next Wednesday at Robin's Hope at 9 o'clock. We're going to have John Rabel. He is an attorney and owner of Launch. He's a small business lawyer. He does law differently.
Yes, he does.
He focuses on risk management and strategy for, like you said, he said to you, which is if you're calling your lawyer once you have a problem,
you needed them tomorrow.
Right? So
you needed them yesterday.
Right.
You don't need them today.
Right. He does business really differently, so he walks with you in your journey as a business, helps you strategize. So when you have those ideas, you're contacting John, and John's legally advising you. These are the things you need to consider as you're thinking about going down this journey, this business journey. Then we have Stacey Briley Goodman, who is with you today from Origamic Solutions. She's the owner of Origamic Solutions, and she's an operations maestro, right?
She's an expert.
Yes. She knows all things operations. She loves structure. And so by having her as part of this forum, if you're having like these fires, the chances are you're probably having some operations and processes issues, right? She can help answer some of your questions regarding that.
Yes, she brought up some thought-provoking questions for me.
What was one of them?
Why do I operate? Why do I operate the way I do?
Why do you operate the way you do?
Well, because we talk about, she came in with the piece with paper and says incremental change. Mm-hmm. Because putting out fires is not really the best way of doing business. And there's a lot of times I've gotten better. There are too many one-offs. Yes. And one-offs become policy.
That's right.
So
they're controlling your business, you're not controlling the business,
right.
Which means you're not controlling your purpose, other people are controlling your purpose.
Yes.
See how it all rolls together?
It all comes together. That's why you are the maestro of this madness. Okay.
And then we have Brian Kinsey. I don't want to forget Brian Kinsey.
The HR man.
HR man of Tinker HR. All things HR. He helps you with policy, helps you, and when you're establishing your HR policy and structure, that comes back to making sure it's reflecting your culture, right? Your purpose of your organization. And he gets that. He gets that so well.
He speaks HR English.
Yeah, he's not
He's not the HR person who scares you.
Yeah, sometimes HR people are like
Yeah,
the last person you want to call.
Yeah, they're more principal than guidance counselor.
Yes. They're the disciplinarian.
Yeah, when you're not, for the most part, going in there to, just bleed your heart out.
So what you're noticing about, because you asked me earlier, what's another similarity amongst us all?
Yes.
We're all proactive, but what that really means is we're all strategic. We all understand that everything you do with an organization ties back to your
purpose. Look at that. On the mic is my North Penn School District's finest right here. 18 shows. I finally gotten it right. The answer is purpose. Oh, yes. Tiffany is here with us. All right. So how can people find you one last time?
MPWRPeople.org. That's MPWRPeople.org. Please #EmpowerPeople on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and you can find us on YouTube.
Really? Okay, shout out to my man Kevin Mandisi out there. I haven't seen you for a bit. We got to connect up a little bit, so that's the great part about this right here. Stacey Bradley Goodman was in this morning talking about processes and order. There's a process, there's order. It makes you feel good because you understand there's a rhythm, like she said, a rhythm and cadence of doing business, so you don't have to think about every little step of the way. So she's there. Kelly Swazer Davis tell you in the Mister he's gonna be a short time in the Army. So tell him welcome to the real world when he's out here with the rest of us. We gotta run. Tiffany Greene, she has massive meetings to go to. She's just a business mogul. I'm just a guy hanging out at the radio station. On the mic with Mike. Hey, tomorrow I'm going to be at 1 Million Cups. So if you're free, 8:30 in the morning over at University of Richmond, make sure you check out my social media page. You'll see me there. I'm there talking to Dale Fickett about business stuff, about, how we created this craziness right here. And we'd like to thank our sponsors because without them, like I always say, the microphone ain't free. My granddaughters needs, my grandkids need stuff, but this granddaughter thing is definitely a little bit more. So we'd like to thank our sponsors. And people say, how do you do it? And I look at this lady like, hello. And that's how we end up staying on the air. We got to go 3 years in February, ESPN Richmond, Mike King Biz, Tiffany Greene. We got to go. See you guys later.